guys, welcome to BrickVault. My name is Mike and today we have a custom build. This big box here holds on all the parts for a build called Smokestack's Coffee House. It is a build designed by Jason Lyles. I have my instructions here on the laptop. We bought the instructions from good guys at Brick City Depot. The build is about 1824 parts, so it shouldn't be too much of a hassle to build. Hopefully we're gonna go through this real quick. I have some cups to sort the parts out, all the parts from Bricklink, a lot of ordering right here, and I have my cookies. So with those guys here, the build should go pretty good. Without further ado, let's just get it done and put it in the city. Going right now. Alright, and this was quite a build. I'm quite happy with the result. The building looks great. I like this red brick theme to that. I guess it kind of resembles those coffee buildings in San Francisco Bay Area. As you would expect from a modular building, the front looks magnificent, however the back is not very impressive. But I kind of got used to that, given the fact that most modular buildings are meant to be represented from the front. The cafe is a two-story building, and what grabs attention is this build for this advertisement mug. Very simple, quite clever, so you can basically see from afar that this is a coffee joint. The whole construction is surrounded by 3 street lamps, and the designer took a clever route in building those. He used umbrella pieces and an inverted transparent dome to get the light bulb inside. It's almost studless, so it looks really good. There is also a tree sitting in the front of the cafe, and the build is quite impressive yet very fragile. You can see that there is a rubber piece used, and the tree is held in place by only one lightsaber rod fitted onto a jumper stud. Nevertheless, all the other pieces used here, especially those Technic wheels, make it look very impressive. I have to admit that I have not seen such use of those pieces for a long time now. Moving on to the front of the cafe, we have this patio area. It hosts 2 tables, 4 chairs, a small area for the register with some cabinet, and the yellow roof can be unfolded a bit upwards to put your customers inside. The black balustrade around the cafe just adds a tiny little bit of detail. It is very atmospheric and suits the entire set very well. As you can also see, the building has a lot of windows. Those really contribute to that loft look of an old industrial building changed into a residential one, and I especially like the fact that the windows of the upper floor do fold open. And now let's take the first floor up so we can see the interiors of the ground floor. The main color theme for the cafe is brown, as you can see. A lot of tile pieces used here. The main coffee bar is mostly built from black bricks. It has a register and a massive espresso machine. It looks quite good, however, there is not very much space to fit a minifigure inside. The back room right behind the coffee bar has some storage racks and white floor. Those are, I think, the same storage racks that we have seen in our previous custom build from this company, namely the Japanese restaurant and the board shop. Those look really good, however, the technique to build them is quite annoying, as you have to fit those connector pieces onto those umbrella stands without any support whatsoever in the middle. And those black doors are the backroom entrance for the storage area. But I skipped one part here. If you move back to the coffee shop area, you can see this build for the table. It is one of those cozy coffee shop places to sit. I guess a pretty comfy spot to have coffee at. And the last thing worth mentioning on this floor is this small restroom in the corner here. It hosts a toilet and a sink, small builds, but look and fit pretty good. Also, I would like to point out the front door of the build. As you can see, they are meant to be a corner piece, but I guess the design is not so great, as the designer chose to use a rotator piece to make them face the correct angle. The downside of that is that the doors actually rattle a bit, because they are not held in place by anything else. That is not much of a burden. I guess a small modification to that can make the doors stay at the same place without any rotation at all. And the question you may ask is, how do you get to the upstairs area? The answer is pretty simple. The stairs upside are accessible from the outside through this glass door with a keypad. I think that is a pretty cool detail right here. Let's just type the code in and go upstairs. And the second floor is, I have to say, much better. What we have here is kind of a man cave or a gamer's apartment. It is fully furnished out. When you enter, you bump into this small kitchenette. It has some really nice building for cabinets. I like this microwave here. There is also a sink and a pretty big fridge. That is a really good build for the fridge. It opens up, there's plenty of space inside. Quite a bit of clever building here. Right next to it, by the windows, there is a bike rack. So on this one, you can fit 2 bikes in. Quite nice use of those umbrella and arm pieces. Right behind the fridge, you can see entrance to also a small restroom. This one is even more detailed than the one downstairs. I'm gonna try to get this wall up so you can see what's inside. But anyway, what we have here is also a small sink with a cabinet inside. The build for the toilet is a bit different, which looks kind of more luxurious. And there is also a small toilet cleaning rod. Nicely designed restroom overall. Leaving the restroom, there is a water dispenser. You can see hot and cold water buttons, some cups on the top. Just a great example of using a small number of Lego pieces to achieve the given look. And the main feature of this entire floor is this wide table with 4 computers on it. Looks to me like a internet cafe design. I guess also a great place to have a LAN party with your friends. Each computer has a keyboard, there is a chair, and a nice touch is this X-Wing pilot helmet on the very top. So I guess we have a Star Wars fan living here. Honestly, I wouldn't mind having such setup in my apartment to have friends and I guess game all night. Anyways, there's also a nice added detail right behind the table in the form of this hi-fi tower. At least it looks to me as an audio system, but it may also be a server or even networking equipment. Or if you use your imagination, that might even be a rack with, I don't know, Lego minifigs or small collectibles. You know, resembles the racks we have here in the studio. That would be cool if it was true. And the last bit of this interior details here is a small desk by this corner wall. And unfortunately, this is another bit I do not like about this build, because to make up this corner piece, the designer used a rotator piece again, and by attaching this corner wall to this rotator piece, you get a huge gap on both sides that just shines outside. So I guess it could be modified a bit to close this gap off, but for now that is the only small negative point I have on this floor. I'm quite happy that this apartment is so furnished and showcases some clever designing here and there. The windows, as I mentioned, open up. and make up this industrial look. And also, if you look up towards the roof, there is even more windows, as the building has this triangular roof, which is very easy to lift up and access this floor. Some clever angles are being showcased here, making up a great skylight. The roof also has those ventilation ports. There is also an AC unit and those two columns that look like chimneys. I'm not really sure about that, but I guess this is quite a unique piece of this set. So they may actually represent a piece of design of some existing building, maybe even in the San Francisco area I mentioned. That would be really cool. And I guess the set's name is related to those pieces. Anyway, let's take one more look at the entire MOC. I am still quite impressed. Love the general setting, the industrial vibe going here. And I do admit that we got it mostly because it is a corner piece, so it would fit perfectly along our other modular buildings. And that being said, let's move on to our Lego city. I made some space for this building right here. As you may remember, we have the main line of buildings right next to it, so this one will finish up the second line on the corner. As you can see, there is a Parisian restaurant right next to it right now, and I don't want to get it covered by any other bulky building. And as we are running out of the actual Lego sets, we will be focusing on the modular MOCs in the future. And with that promise in mind, thank you so guys so much for watching. Remember, if you like our content, I really appreciate you guys clicking those like and subscribe buttons. Tune in every week, every day for more cool stuff from our channel. Again, my name is Mike, and I will see you again on BrickVault.